Another day of Vlogmas, day number 9. I didn't film much today, but I thought that I would kind of go in and talk about how I became a DJ. I've had a lot of friends, a lot of people at weddings ask me kind of how I got started with this, so I just thought this would be a good little thing to talk about today. So I got into DJing in around my 8th grade. Around 8th grade, I was at a graduation party and my friend's dad was DJing and I thought that was super cool. So a bit before I had even started that, I think around like 5th grade, I had been playing around with a program on the Mac called GarageBand, and I was making A plus B mashups. Heard some stuff from a few guys on YouTube. This is before mashups and stuff got really big. Found a guy named Girl Talk around 6th, 7th grade, listened to a lot of his mashups and just got super inspired to make my own. And so that's kind of how I got started, kind of mixing music early on. So yeah, started around that 8th grade is when I started getting a little bit more serious with the DJing. I found a program that worked on the Mac called I think it's called DJ Pro now, it's crazy how big they got in there on the Macs. They're on the iPad, iPhones now. And so that's what I use to practice beat matching and learning what BPMs and just learning how to use EQs and effects. So from there, one thing just kept turning into another. 8th grade to 9th grade, got asked to DJ the class below me's 8th grade parties. I'm a freshman at this point. To DJ their 8th grade party graduation, and that was my first event. And I literally did it without any type of turntables. Literally was using my keyboard on a iMac that our family owned at the time, was using a literal keyboard to mix my music. So learning how to pretty much match it on beat I didn't know how to I don't even think I had pitch sliders to affect to slow it up or speed things down. So everything kind of had to be spot on when we were mixing music. So did that for about 2 years until my sophomore year of high school, where I finally bought my first DJing controller. A little MIDI controller. It was a Vestax VCI 380 controller, and that lasted me for a few years. And kept DJing those 8th grade parties. Junior year came around, I DJ'd a dance. My first dance with that controller, my junior year of high school, at my high school, and it went as well as you could probably go during your first event. It was a little rough, it was fun, but you live and you learn, and so that was my first event. And I learned a lot about music selection, and it's better to have more than not enough songs on deck. So that was the first, and I thought was going to be my last DJ event that I had ever done. Senior year rolls around. Not sure if I did that 8th grade party again for the 8th graders, but I did my first wedding after I graduated my senior year of high school. Again, same, it was pretty rough. Learned a lot, learned what to do, what not to do, what to do better the next time. And I thought that was going to be my first and last wedding. From there on, I went to GCU, Grand Canyon University. Got asked to do some events back in San Diego, where I'm from. So I DJ'd at my old my old high school. Got asked to do some other dances for some other homeschooling groups, and again, that snowball effect just kind of kept going and going. Didn't get asked to do much at my school at the time, but for the next few years after that, just kept practicing, kept making mashups and making mixes on my free time. And then sophomore year, DJ'd for a church that I was going to, DJ'd for high schools back in San Diego. I'm currently in Phoenix, Arizona. And that kind of continued all the way up until my senior year of college at Grand Canyon University. My friend was the PR director on ASGCU, our student government at GCU, and she asked me to DJ a event called Midnight Breakfast. And I was been on ASGCU for 4 years at that point, kept saying, hey, DJ, if you guys want music instead of playing my playlist, I'll do it, and it never came to fruition until that senior year, just because one of my really good friends was in charge of that. So she asked me to do Midnight Breakfast. It was a hit. That was it was kind of like a weird like dream come true. I thought it'd always be really cool to DJ an event at GCU, and so December 2017 that came true. And we had another event later on that year, did a silent disco, so that was the first time I had done anything like that, let alone DJ an event that big. Before I had been doing weddings, had been doing those high school dances, but the high school, probably about 100, 120, 150 people would show up to those, and now we're talking about, a few thousand people are showing up to these events. So very, very different compared to doing a high school dance compared to some college events. So senior year, again, snowball effect just kept going. Did that midnight breakfast event in December, silent disco around February or March, and then did the midnight breakfast for the second semester in April. I thought it was a lot of fun. Again, I was just going to be doing some, maybe some local high school stuff after I graduated. Maybe I would be doing more weddings as I continued doing this. And then a year after I graduated, I was getting asked to do events, asked by some of my friends that were the directors of special events on CAB, Canyon Activities Board at GCU, which planned some other events on campus and signed some contracts, and we were doing some events for them, bigger events. So the first event that I got asked to do was hanging up the greens, and I believe there was about a couple thousand people at that event. Again, had not done many events of that size. Midnight breakfast, people were coming and going, so there's probably only like 2, 3, 4, 500 people dancing at a time. Hanging up the greens though, we're in this stadium, and there's literally thousands of people in this arena, so I'm freaking out. And I was like, all right, so I peaked. This is where I am gonna, it doesn't get any better than this. This is where we're gonna be. And the event went well. Someone had a seizure. It happens. But that event went well. Got asked to do a couple other events with GCU. Got asked to do midnight breakfast again. And I continued doing weddings over the last couple years since I've graduated. Still DJ today for Grand Canyon University. It's fortunate that we were able to even do some events this past year, even with COVID. So DJ'd a couple dances with for CAB this past year. But so that's kind of a little bit about how I got into DJing and kind of what my resume of DJing has been over the last almost 10 years, I think now. So I'm 25, so I started DJing around 15, 14 years old. So it's kind of crazy to look back and kind of see where you started from, but hopefully we'll just keep going up from here and continue to DJ. It's a lot of fun, and hope you guys listen to all of that. If you guys made it all the way here, hope you guys subscribe. If you guys like more, if you guys want to see more of like how I got started with videography or photography, or would like, to see anything else that I do, just let me know, leave a comment below. And that's gonna be it for Vlogmas Day 9. Thanks for watching, you guys.